They called me a burden and gave my room to my brother's wife. Now I own the house they're begging to stay in. My parents threw me out to hand my room over to my brother's new wife, labeling me a deadweight. As she tossed my belongings onto the curb, I walked away without a fuss, just flashing a grin. 2 months later, they showed up at my doorstep, frantic. My brother, Carlos, 23, tied the knot with Ellen, 25, last month after a whirlwind 3-month romance. I should have sensed trouble brewing when she started dropping hints about my room during their first visit. This space gets such great sunlight compared to the spare room. Or, the view here is stunning. I never imagined my own parents would actually boot me out for it. Yesterday, I got home from work to find Ellen stuffing my stuff into trash bags while my mom, Rhonda, stood by the door, watching, not boxes, literal trash bags. They didn't even wait for me to get home. "What the hell's going on?" I asked, seeing my clothes spill across the floor as Ellen yanked open another drawer. "You're back," Mom said, as if this was no big deal. "Ellen and Carlos need more room, so we're giving them yours. The guest room's too cramped for a married couple." I watched Ellen mishandle my laptop, nearly dropping it as she shoved it into a bag. "Watch it," I snapped, stepping forward to grab it. "That's my work laptop. Don't speak to her like that," Carlos barked suddenly in my face. "Show my wife some respect." "Respect? She's tossing my stuff into garbage bags." That's when my dad, Henry, stormed upstairs. "What's all this shouting? Dario, are you causing problems for Ellen?" Of course, naturally, he'd pin it on me. It's been this way since Carlos was born. He's the golden boy who can do no wrong, and me. I'm just the extra, the fallback. "I just got home to find them throwing my things out," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "No heads up, nothing." "Told Carlos and Ellen they could have your room 2 days ago," Mom said. "It's not our fault, you're never here to know." I wanted to yell. I work 50-hour weeks at Dad's shop, managing all the tech stuff he's too clueless to handle. I'm only never here because I'm always working. "You're 23, Dario," Dad said in that patronizing tone I've heard forever. "It's time you moved out. You're weighing us down." Weighing them down. The words hit like a slap. I'm the one who overhauled their inventory system. I set up their online store. I handle their social media and customer complaints. But sure, I'm the deadweight. Ellen smirked as she dumped another drawer of my clothes onto the pile. "Don't worry, I'll make this room perfect," she said. "I'm thinking lavender walls. It'll look way better than this gloomy color." I looked at my room, my haven since I was 5. The deep blue walls I painted at 16. The custom desk I built last year. The shelves I installed for my books and gaming rig, all about to be covered in lavender, but something inside me shifted. I felt oddly at peace. "Fine," I said, starting to gather my scattered clothes, folding them neatly into the bags. "Give me 24 hours to pack properly and I'm gone." They seemed thrown off by my sudden compliance. Ellen's smirk wavered. "Well, good," Mom said, uncertain. "That's very grown-up of you." I spent the next few hours packing methodically while they lingered, probably expecting me to lose it. But I stayed calm, carefully sorting my things, making sure to take everything I owned, including the desk and shelves I'd paid for my friend Mackenzie's letting me stay at her place until I sort things out. She was livid when I told her what happened, offering to help me ruin their lives. I told her to hold off. "I've got a better plan, see. My family doesn't know I've been preparing for something like this. Not exactly this, but I knew they'd eventually screw me over. I've got savings, connections from working with Dad's clients, and most crucially, access to every system I built for their business. They never bothered learning how any of it works. I'm not doing anything shady. I don't need to. They've given me everything I need to crush them, all above board. Dad wants to call me deadweight. Let's see how they handle the weight of running their shop without me. Update 1. Hey, Reddit. I didn't expect my post to get so much attention. Thanks for the support and advice. A lot's gone down in these 2 weeks and I need to vent. Quick recap. My parents kicked me out to give my room to my brother Carlos's new wife, Ellen, calling me a burden while she tossed my stuff into trash bags. Instead of arguing, I left quietly. Some of you thought I was spineless for not fighting. Trust me, I had my reasons. These past 2 weeks have been wild. Remember how I worked at Dad's shop? I landed a job at Morrison's, their direct competitor across town. Funny thing, I was the one dealing with most of our regular clients for 3 years. Guess who they'd rather work with? The drama at my old house is straight out of a soap opera. Mackenzie, who's letting me crash at her place next door to my parents, has been filling me in. Ellen's decided my old room needs a total overhaul. Knocking down walls, custom wardrobes, the whole deal. Mom suggested waiting a bit to save up. and Mackenzie caught the screaming match on her phone from her backyard. Ellen was shrieking about how they promised her a proper home, and how she wouldn't have moved in if she knew they were liars. Real charming Carlos, ever the pushover, backed her up, telling Mom she was being greedy with her money, just like with my room. The irony's killing me. Dad's been blowing up my phone since Thursday. Not to say sorry, that'd require a backbone. His top client, Mr. Rodriguez, switched to Morrison's after I handled a complex order that would have taken weeks at Dad's. I know their system, suppliers, and pricing inside out. I know how to offer better deals while still turning a profit. When I finally answered, Dad started with his usual guilt trip. "Son, after all we've done for you," I cut him off. "You mean like tossing my stuff in trash bags and calling me deadweight? Or letting Ellen trash the room I maintained for 15 years? The silence was golden. Here's the kicker. Ellen's renovation demands are draining them. Mackenzie overheard Mom crying to her sister about maxing out 2 credit cards. They dipped into the business account for Ellen's fancy closets. Apparently, the same one some celebrity has. Carlos lost his decent job last week because Ellen kept showing up at his workplace, throwing tantrums about him needing to come home early because she's stressed. After 3 warnings, they fired him. Now he's at some warehouse earning half as much. And Ellen, she's now demanding they turn the garage into a home gym for her influencer body. She's got 342 Instagram followers. Dad nearly had a heart attack when she showed him a $15,000 quote for gym equipment. For Mackenzie, I'm just watching it all unravel while quietly taking their clients. Not stealing, just offering better service. It's amazing how treating people well and keeping promises builds loyalty. Who'd have thought? Yesterday, I signed a lease for my own apartment. It's modest, but it's mine. No entitled princess can touch my stuff here. Ellen drove by Mackenzie's place, still trying to guilt-trip me, and her face when she saw me moving in. Worth every cent of the deposit. Dad's business is tanking without me. Turns out I was doing more than helping out. Their online store, I built it. Supplier relationships, I managed those. Customer service reputation, all me. Now they're drowning in bad reviews because Ellen pushed them to hire her cousin who can't tell an order form from a receipt. Mom tried contacting me through Mackenzie, saying they're struggling to pay the mortgage and Ellen's renovation bills. The business account's nearly empty. Carlos and Ellen are still in my old room, which now has a hole in the wall from a botched chandelier installation. I didn't reply, just like they didn't when I asked for an hour to pack properly. Mackenzie says Ellen's now planning to turn the basement into a content creation studio. Wonder if their credit cards can take another hit. We'll see in the next update 2. I wasn't planning to post again so soon, but wow, things have gone completely off the rails. Recap. My parents kicked me out for Carlos's wife, Ellen, calling me deadweight while she trashed my stuff. I didn't fight, just smiled and left. Then I joined their competitor and started taking their clients with better service. Now, the chaos is unreal. Ellen convinced my parents to refinance the house to fund her dream renovations. New kitchen, bigger bathroom, fancy closets. Mom was hesitant, but Ellen played dad with, "Don't you want your first grandchild to have a beautiful home?" She's not even pregnant. Costs skyrocketed, contractors found structural issues, and Ellen demanded high-end materials. Meanwhile, I've been building my client base at the competitor. Those detailed records I kept of customer needs, they're paying off. Clients are switching, not because I'm bad-mouthing my family, but because I deliver better service. I overheard a neighbor at a coffee shop saying, "Did you hear the yelling at Henry and Rhonda's last night?" Ellen had a meltdown because her custom bathroom tiles were the wrong shade of gray. She was throwing things, screaming that the house was ruining her dreams. Neighbors called the cops over the noise. Ellen tried blaming my parents for destroying her life. Real classy. Carlos got fired last week. Ellen kept showing up at his job, demanding he stand up to his parents and claim his inheritance early. She even yelled at his boss for overworking him with a standard 40-hour week. They asked him to take a leave. He quit instead. The family business is collapsing. They didn't realize how much I was holding it together. Dad's called 3 times this week, leaving voicemails about needing to talk about the shop. Mom texted that they miss my help. Yeah, should have thought of that before calling me useless and tossing my stuff. Mackenzie, who works at their bank, said they tried for another loan, denied. Their credits trashed from renovation debt. Ellen's still pushing for more upgrades, now wanting a revamped backyard because neighbors can see into her space. Carlos and Ellen are fighting too. She's blaming him for not having enough money, thinking he'd inherit a thriving business. She even threw his PlayStation out the window during an argument. It was his only escape since losing his job. The karma keeps coming. Remember Maria, our housekeeper they fired because Ellen didn't like her attitude. She's working for me now, helping manage my new clients. Turns out she's got killer organizational skills my parents never appreciated. She's earning more and finally gets respect. Dad's drinking heavily, sitting in his car at night staring at the house. Mom's stressed and losing weight. Carlos is on the couch because Ellen turned their room into a barely used yoga studio. Renovations are stalled. They can't afford to fix the hole in the kitchen ceiling. I haven't said a word to them. Don't need to, just watching it all collapse. My place is small but paid for. My job's solid. My clients are happy. Their house is a construction zone, the business is failing, and they're all fighting. Ellen's latest fit was about the neighbors' kids being too loud in their own yard. She called the cops, who told her to deal with it. Now the neighbors shun them. Some might say I'm heartless, but they threw me out like trash, called me worthless. Now they're seeing how much I was carrying. The business will likely shut down soon. The house might be foreclosed if they miss payments. Carlos and Ellen's marriage is crumbling. All I did was walk away and thrive. Their choices did the rest. Mackenzie thinks I should feel sorry. Nope. They burned that bridge when they chose Ellen over me. Their calls go to voicemail, their texts go unanswered. Got another call from Dad while writing this. A shaky voicemail, maybe crying. Too bad. Should have thought about consequences before throwing me out. I'll update if anything big happens, but I'm focused on my life now. Success is the sweetest revenge, and watching them crumble while I soar. Perfection final update. It's been 2 months since my last post, and wow, everything's imploded for them. Not me. Last night I was relaxing with takeout watching videos when my doorbell went nuts. My security camera, best purchase ever, showed my parents. Mom was in tears. Dad looked like a wreck. Part of me wanted to ignore them, but I was curious. I opened the door but didn't let them in. Mom reached for a hug. I stepped back. "What do you want?" I asked. Dad started with his usual spiel. "Son, we need to talk. The family's falling apart." No kidding. That was the goal. The business is done. I didn't just take their clients. I showed them how my parents overcharged for years. All I did was offer fair deals and reliable service. Totally legal. Totally devastating. Here's the best part. Ellen, the princess they chose over me, maxed out 3 credit cards they co-signed for. She said it was for home improvements. But really, she was splurging at luxury stores and spas while trashing them online. Mackenzie, who works at the spa, kept me posted. They can't even kick her out because Carlos threatened to cut them off if they did. Mom sobbed about possibly losing the house. I smiled and said, like how I lost mine. Their faces were golden. "We messed up," Dad said. "We need your help. You're doing great. We've seen your place. Please, son." I laughed, actually laughed. "Remember calling me deadweight? Tossing my stuff in trash bags?" I showed them an email on my phone, confirmation that I now own their house. I bought it at the bank's foreclosure auction through a shell company, all legal. All ruthless. Mom collapsed, crying. Dad yelled that I orchestrated this, that I'm tearing the family apart. "No," I said. "You did that when you picked Ellen over your own son. I just watched it burn." Then Carlos and Ellen showed up. They'd followed my parents. Ellen screamed that I ruined everything. I recorded her tantrum, smiling. Carlos got in my face but backed off when I mentioned assault charges wouldn't help his jobless resume. "You've got till the end of the month to move out," I told them. "All of you, I own the house now. The bank gave you 60 days, I'm giving you 30. Ellen cried about having nowhere to go. I shrugged. "There's a motel nearby if you can scrape together the cash." Dad tried one last plea. "We're your family." "No," I said. "You were, now you're just tenants, and you're evicted." I shut the door and blocked their numbers. Through the camera, I watched them argue for 20 minutes. Ellen blaming my parents, them blaming Carlos, him blaming everyone. Pure music. This morning, I got 34 missed calls and texts from extended family calling me cruel. I sent them all a screenshot of Ellen's $23,000 in luxury purchases, while my parents missed mortgage payments. I'm moving into my old room next month and planning to renovate the house. Thinking of renting out rooms to people who actually deserve a fresh start. Some say I should forgive them, help them out. Nope. They showed their true colors when they threw me out. Actions have consequences, and I'm not their fallback. Everything's legal, planned from the moment they betrayed me. No guilt here, they made their choice. Now they live with it. Follow for more real-life stories and heartfelt experiences. Why our support means everything, and it helps us share more stories like this. Thank you for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.